You guys all ready? Brett, you ready? Dr. Viveras? All right. All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to a very unusual 3 o'clock Thursday, April 30th, Portsmouth School Committee meeting. If you'd please rise and join me in a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence for our troops in harm's way, we'll get started. I pledge allegiance. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Oh, get ready to have the meeting. Good afternoon, everybody. Please let the record reflect that Ms. Kelly's unable to join us today. If we have an emergency, we've got 2 exit doors there, 1 back here, and we reconvene over at the school admin building. I have public comment here on the agenda. Can you see if there's any there or online? If people do want to comment on any of the agenda items, you can do that during the discussion. So this would just be for other things. Anything there, Ms. Kupchandani? Nothing there. Okay, I don't have to read that. So we have 2 business items on today. Can I have a motion for discussion and action for A, please?
Discussion and action on school year 2025-2026 for the school calendar update.
Second.
All right, we have a motion for discussion and action. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Viveras to explain the reasoning for revisiting this. And then I want to make a couple of remarks about transparency, and then we're going to move it open to the whole committee for discussion or any public comment. Dr. Viveras.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Copeland. And thank you to all of the members of the school committee for making time to meet. At our last school committee meeting, we had an extensive conversation about making changes to our school calendar due to the state shortening the school year from 180 days to 178 days. The committee voted to have May 22nd and June 18th as staff professional development days. After much consideration, I am bringing this back to the committee and asking you to reconsider the days that have been scheduled. May 22nd is not ideal. It was not planned, and for that reason, we have several student events happening on that day. I'm asking today that the committee reconsider my original recommendation of having our school year for students end on June 16th and having June 17th and 18th as staff professional development days. Thank you.
Okay, so I just want to say for full transparency here, anytime the superintendent's going to request that we have an agenda item, as chair, I'm certainly going to respect that and put it on the agenda. So yes, we are voting on this twice. I think we kind of made a quick off-the-cuff decision last year, and I applaud you for recognizing it wasn't in the best interest for that. So we have the 2 days at the end of the year, which last time we voted on this failed. And for anybody in support of it failing, I would note Ms. Kelly was one of the people who voted in opposition. She's not able to be here today. But if the 3-3 vote still stands, it would still fail. This is not an attempt to pull a quick one, to push anything under the rug. It's just we have to have this done by June 1st. Ms. Kelly was okay with us being here. So we'll have any discussion on this item.
Dr. Copeland, it actually has to be submitted by today.
Oh, by today, I thought it was, okay.
Yes.
Change that,
Thank
scratch
you.
that, April 30th. I mean, by May 1st. I thought May 1st. Yeah, not June 1st, May 1st. So we'll have discussion on this. We'll have a vote, and if it passes, it passes. If it fails, I know you have another option here as well. So having said that, now opening it up for discussion.
I support this. I support the superintendent's recommendation.
Okay? Mr.
Yeah.
Delahunty?
We had a pretty thorough discussion on these 2 days last time. I really don't think we should even be addressing it again. The fact that a hastily made decision was made about the 22nd, I don't think is reason to revisit this decision. All the reasons that I voted for against it first time still stand. Since then, I've talked to more parents, and not a single person I've talked to is in support of that. They're actually kind of angry about it. So, still pretty steadfast against this change.
Absolutely. Respect your opinion. Anybody else?
I'll just, first I'd like to start off by thanking all the school department administrators, teachers, parents, students, and other staff for all their hard work throughout the year, to include the days that we had to pivot to distance learning. I did vote against the initial proposed change to the calendar, as well as the second proposed change to the calendar. While I do not plan to change my decision to the schedule based on what we had previously discussed, I'm not opposed to entertaining other options that the superintendent may propose. And we'll go from there.
Okay. Anything?
I'll just add, well, first of all, I echo what Mr. Fox said about appreciating the hard work of the staff and administrators and everyone in the district. I was the one who actually made the motion to have the date on in May, and it was something that was an attempt at a compromise in the midst of the discussion. But certainly the emails that we've received in the meantime, the conversations we've had in the meantime, have illustrated that that's certainly not the best solution for the district. When I consider the days at the end of the year, certainly I understand the desire to say, we want our kids in school as much as they can be in school. You know, that's a very logical and reasonable thing. However, when I think about the long-term implications of having 2 additional school days at the end of the year versus having teachers use those days for professional development to regroup after the end of the year and get themselves in a better position for the following year. When I think about which has the larger impact on student learning long-term, I honestly believe that the professional development days would have a stronger impact on student learning on an ongoing basis than adding those 2 days to the end of the year. So that's my position.
All right. Seeing, I voted in favor last time. I'm going to vote in favor this time again because of, like Mr. Delahanty said, we had an extensive discussion, but I do think, you know, professional development, rewarding the hard work, et cetera, is really valid. But I also respect all the different opinions here. So I think we're done with discussion on this and we'll call the vote. All in favor of the calendar proposed? Oh, wait, oh, I'm sorry. Any, yes, please. My bad. Come up to the podium. We certainly allow for public comment on this. Yeah, just the green light should show up. And you do have to state your name and address for the record.
Can I speak even if I don't live in town? Okay, all right. So I don't live in town, but my name is Tannen Longway. I live in East Greenwich, but I work at the middle school. I didn't get a chance to say this the last time. And so I just wanted to mention one of the benefits of having the professional development day at the end of the year is we've seen a lot of really wonderful things come out of PD time with teachers. And I've been able to pull the 5th grade social studies teachers for a full day release to scope out the new curriculum for social studies. I've been able to do the same thing with 8th grade. Excuse me. And our 8th grade has been so successful that we are a model for RIDE with the Civics Action Project. And we've been asked to present at statewide conferences. The challenge that I have with 6th grade is that we have 6 6th grade teachers and they all teach social studies. And so I would really like to have that PD day the day after school gets out, because my other option is to put a substitute in every 6th grade classroom for an entire day. And I would rather do it at the end of the year, because that's almost a lost day of learning too. I mean, there'll be sub-plans, but essentially every 6th grader would have a substitute for the day. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, I'm Margie Brennan, 63 Pleasant Street. As some of you might know, I'm the science instructional coach for the district. I support 43 teachers from kindergarten to 8th grade. And I'm speaking this afternoon in support of request for the final 2 days of school as professional development days for the teachers. I want to begin by acknowledging that instructional time is incredibly important. As educators, we take responsibilities seriously. At the same time, I think it's important to recognize that during the 5 weather-related closure days this year, staff were still working. While students were not physically in the classroom, many educators, coaches, specialists, and support staff were engaged in meaningful curriculum work, planning, assessment, development, instruction, preparation, and collaboration. Those days were not lost days for staff, nor they were lost for the kids for educational purposes. As a district, we are currently in a significant period of curriculum growth and transition. At the elementary level, teachers are working to implement a new science curriculum while also continuing to meet the very real demands of math, literacy, intervention, assessment, and social emotional learning. As we are moving forward with important work in social studies, these initiatives matter, but they require time, collaboration, and thoughtful planning in order to be implemented well. One of the greatest challenges we face is that teachers do not have enough time, shared time to work together across grade levels, across schools, and across disciplines. Vertical articulation is especially important in science and social studies because students build understanding over time. When teachers have the opportunity to look together at standards, curriculum expectation, student work, instructional resources, and common practices, the result is stronger instruction and more coherent experiences for students. Professional development time at the end of the year would allow teachers to reflect on what worked, identify gaps, prepare for next year, and strengthen alignment across the district. This is not time away from students in spirit. It is time invested directly back into the quality of instruction the students will receive. I also believe it's fair to consider that students in Portsmouth should not be asked to complete more days in school than other districts when the required instruction expectations have been met and when staff had continued working throughout the closure of the day. I know I myself worked from 7 in the morning till about 4 or 5 every day. Our students didn't lose the level of learning that would justify adding additional days beyond what is required, especially when those final days can be used in a way that directly supports teaching and learning. I respectfully support using the final 2 days as professional development because it would honor the work already completed by staff, support the successful rollout of new curriculum, and provide much needed time for collaboration that ultimately benefits students. Thank you for your time and for your continued support of the Portsmouth students.
Thank you. Anybody else like to make some remarks? No? Okay. Thank you for all the thoughtful remarks on both sides. We have a motion to approve the revised 25-26 calendar as presented, with the last 2 days, 17 and 18, being P days, but not days for kids. All in favor? Any opposed? 3-3 tie for the record. Do I have to read it for the record, or do you just write it down? Ms. Gupchamdani. Okay. In favor, Mr. Farber, Emily Copeland, Ms. McDade. Opposed, Mr. Delahanty, Ms. Skian, and Mr. Fox. Motion fails. And I believe now we have an alternative calendar that the superintendent has presented.
Thank you, Dr. Copeland. So in your backup, I did include an alternative. As I said previously, having May 22nd off is not in the best interest of students in learning. The current calendar has been approved and would still include this day. I'm now asking the school committee to consider adding May 22nd back into the school calendar, leaving June 18th as a staff professional development day.
Thank you. Comments, discussion? Mr. Fox?
I'd be willing to support that.
Other
I see
comments?
it as a compromise. I do see the value in having a professional development day, the last day of school. It's a lot to ask the teachers to come in on a day they're not supposed to be there for work, so I do agree with that. So
Okay,
I see it as a good compromise, and kind of go with the spirit of what everyone's looking for.
okay. Other comments? Seeing none, I support the measure. I think half a glass is better than no glass. So I think that's, we certainly don't want to go beyond. And so I would support this. All right, seeing no further discussion. All in favor of ending the school year on the 17th and having the 18th as professional development, raise your hands. Aye. Unanimous. Okay, 6-0. Thank you. Again, we appreciate all the hard work. I'm glad we were able to get the 20th taken care of and get at least a professional development day in there. So thank you.
Yep. And we officially have the longest school calendar in the state.
We have 181 days, right?
Well, we have 100, we'll have 179 days, and most districts have between 176 and 178.
178.
Yeah.
Can I add a comment? I do think it's imperative to notify families right away. There's still a large number who don't know about these changes.
Yep.
Yeah,
I-
I think that's a great.
I
point.
have an email ready to go.
All right, second item for discussion, B, please. May I have a motion?
Action on the school year 2026, 2027 school calendar update.
Second.
For discussion, Dr. Viveras.
Thank you, Dr. Copeland. The district received notification that the state primaries were moved from Tuesday, September 8th to Wednesday, September 9th. The current calendar does not indicate this. So the calendar changes I'm proposing gives families the 8th and 9th off, which supports an extended Labor Day weekend, and changes our last day of school from June 16th to June 17th. When I was looking at the calendar and trying to play around with the dates, it just really did not make sense to have families who most likely, a good majority of them would be away for the Memorial Day weekend to be coming back for that one day. And we were already ending at a pretty early time, so just extending that. Also in the calendar, you're going to see that I have put in 3 makeup days at the end of the year.
Snow days.
They will be makeup days for snow days so that we do not have to revisit any issues moving forward. Thank you.
So I'm sorry, the makeup days
Would be,
would take us past the
Yeah.
19th?
it would.
It's in the,
Is it up now? Yeah.
it's also in your backup.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yep.
Oh,
could you clarify the 2 documents related to next year, option, I assume 1 and 2? Because one
There was
has
just the old,
September.
it was the old calendar. That was on screen. Well, the old calendar.
this is the one we've already approved.
Right, that was the one that's been approved, but we have to change the primary day. So that primary day now is on the Wednesday, so we have to have the Wednesday off. So it would be Monday off for Memorial Day. I am proposing having the Tuesday off and then the required Wednesday off for primaries. For late, no, I'm sorry, I said Memorial Day.
So a very long Labor Day
Yes.
weekend.
But just to clarify, the previous calendar already had Tuesday, the 8th off.
Because it was the primary. Now it's.
Oh,
no
now you're
longer
like.
the
Right.
primary.
That's the only change in this and.
I do it just, and it also changed the last day of school.
Real quick question.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go look at this calendar again, would it make sense to put a PD day at the end of the year, like we were asking for now? Or,
We don't have the budget to support a PD day for the end of the year.
Part of the reason why we were trying to take the opportunity of this is that it's,
But we only had funding for 2 hours this year for professional development. We didn't have more. than
we
that.
have early release days this
Yeah.
year.
No, but
and the
like,
day before.
The remaining budget didn't it didn't allow for 2 full days of PD anyway.
We,
Dr. Veras?
I'm not sure, is there a question there?
Yeah.
What,
It's
what's
already
the question?
taken, but
Yeah, I can't hear. Can you just
Don't-
speak in the microphone a little bit?
the vote's completed.
Yeah,
The vote's completed. It was regarding the funding for professional development.
It doesn't need to be funded because it's just a workday. It's not an extra hours, it's part of the workday.
Not what I was
It's,
just told.
I'm sorry, Ms. Game, is your question about the calendar that we just
Just
approved?
approved.
Right, so those 2 days, we would not have to pay teachers because our teachers work a 181-day like calendar year. So because the commissioner gave us.
No, I understand, but you said there was funding for 2 hours of professional development remaining.
I'm not, I didn't,
You did say that, didn't you?
2 hours?
Didn't
like-
hear that either.
I don't, I'm not sure.
Previously in a meeting in your office this week.
I'm not, I'm not even sure.
Well,
2
okay,
hours-
well, I'll tell you what, if it's a sidebar, we'll,
I'm
we'll,
not even
we'll
sure.
we'll-
I
we'll stay on
understand.
this calendar because we are on this and then we'll figure that out after the, so, so Mr. Fox, your question was, could we add a day for PD at the end? And the issue is, if we
Is-
had the money, we
I
could.
don't mean an add a day. I mean, make the PD days that,
The-
you know, if that's helpful. Could
Yeah,
we
there's-
rearrange the PD?
Oh, I
Are
see
you
that.
asking
Oh.
about the early release days?
Yeah, instead of early release.
So currently we have, 6 hours of time that we can have our staff for early release. So if we were to not have early release, we actually would be cutting our PD day we'd be cutting time by 6 hours. Right now, we have the 1 hour early release plus the hour that is contractually a part of their contract. So we're able to have 12 hours of PD because of that 1 hour of early release. If we were to take away the early release days, we would only be able to have 1 PD day, a standalone PD day. So we would have 6 hours versus the 12 hours that we're able to get with early release.
And I think the other issue was, the reason we were putting that at the end was because the commissioner reduced the days in school for students from 180 to 178.
Correct.
And so we'd still have to have 180 days for students.
Correct.
No, I
Yeah,
get that.
yeah.
I'm just, I see the value in having PD days at the end of the school year. I absolutely do. And that's why I voted on this
Yes.
past one. So I'm just trying to figure out if there's a way or a mechanism that we could account for that.
Yeah.
In this calendar. I mean, certainly we can come back and address it at another time if even possible. But okay.
Thank you.
That's fine.
Other comments? All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor of approving the revised 26-27 calendar, which is currently labeled in your backup as option 2, signal aye. Any opposed? Unanimous 6-0. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's hope they don't move the primary again. Prior to adjournment, just want to note that we have a policy subcommittee on May 4th. The safety executive session superintendent committee is May 6th, and our next regular school committee meeting is May 12th here in Town Hall.
It looks like that May 4th meeting is going to move. So watch the space.
Oh,
We're-
May 4th, policy, no policy subcommittee. Okay,
Correct.
maybe move. Thank you.
Maybe reschedule.
Moved. All right. And before closing, just want to say congratulations to the superintendent, administration, all the teams that were working on the budget, because the town council approved our provisionally approved, have to be very careful here, our budget last night.
Yes,
So
thank you.
that was good.
Thank you.
All right. Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
All in favor?